What you see on your screens are two pictures of your own city. The one on the left and the one on the right. Which one do you like? For me, it's always Shimla on the left. The one on the right is what we've made it through our negligence, through our ignorance of nature, through whatever bad we can do to the city. Long traffic jams, motor cars, landslides, everything bad that could happen to our beautiful city has already happened. If we don't wake up now, it'll be too late. And not just for Shimla, for our planet. It is your children. It is your choice. What do you want to leave them with for the next generation that is to come? I'll start with how I got involved with cycling, with the vision of changing this for my city, for my people. I started cycling while I was in the US. I used to commute to work to save $4 every day. And slowly I got hooked onto it. It was a love affair that finally matured in Bangalore. I started going to work every day. I was a single one in my Hewlett-Packard office that used to go on a bike every day. I was often laughed upon. I used to park my bike with the mess workers. Everybody else was driving fancy cars to office. However, that did never bother me. By the end of my tenure at HP, there were 50 people who were coming to office on bikes. I had founded an HP cycling club. We had an annual funding of 3,000 rupees from the office. That's how it all started. Uh, that's how I got interested in the concept of cycling. I started seeing what it can do, and cycling is nothing new. We've been doing it for centuries. Shimla used to have 5 rupee bikes. You could rent from Lakkad Bazaar to Sanjoli when I was growing up. My father probably bought them for 1 rupee. But through the generations, what we've done is we've lost the touch with bikes. We've become too charmed by the concept of a motor car, high speed, things like that, the adrenaline flow. However, we've always kept missing the fact that even cycling can give you the same adrenaline flow. And it can do while preserving the planet at the same time. With this vision in mind, my elder brother started MTB Himalaya in 2005. It was a concept way ahead of its time. In 2005, it was the only mountain bike cross-country stage event in the whole of Asia. Leave Himachal, Shimla, whole of Asia. Can you imagine that? Powers like Russia, China, nobody had ever thought of something like that. That small thing started in Himachal Pradesh. And little did these guys know then that this idea will take the world by storm. We're now rated amongst the top 10 mountain biking events of the world. Top 10 of the world. That is the impact that this event has had. There was a former Tour de France rider, I'm sure you've all heard about Tour de France, the biggest cycling race in the world, 100-year-old race. This guy was here last year. I remember speaking to him after a stretch from Narkanda to Pati Jubar. This guy exclaims, "This is the best cycling route I've ever been on." That's the beauty of our state. And look what we've done to it. We've made it into a slum. That is not what we're supposed to do. It's our planet, we must save it. So for me, MTB Himalaya, when I came in 2012, I was a tourist. I came in with a couple of my friends from Bangalore. We were given a small task of, you manage media, you do this, that. So for us, it was a vacation, a break from office. We got in here, and I met a few of the most exceptional people that I'll ever meet in my life. This guy, foot soldier, as we call him, is a grape farmer from Maharashtra, Dattatreya Patil. As you can see in the picture, he never wears shoes. Gada Gusheni, Jalori Pass, minus 10 degrees. This guy is cycling without shoes, You might complain, I don't have a good bike, I don't have the right equipment, Shimla climbs are too steep. This guy climbs that bare feet. He often doesn't have the money to travel in a train from Maharashtra to Shimla. So what does he do? He cycles all the way. He cycles from Sangli, Maharashtra, gets to Himachal and rides MTB Himalaya every year. He doesn't have an email ID, he doesn't have a phone. We don't hear anything from him through the whole year. On the 27th or the last weekend of September, he lands up in Shimla with his big pot belly, smiling at us, मैं आ गया हूँ, I'm here, I'll race again, दौड़ेगा, नंगे पैर दौड़ेगा. So these are the kind of stories that inspired me. Another guy from Uzbekistan, Jurobey Vatev. He's an art teacher in Uzbekistan, works for 6 months and cycles for 6 months. So 2012 race, he rode all the way from Uzbekistan to Bangladesh, flew into Delhi because of visa issues, rode from Delhi to Shimla, rode the race, rode back to Nepal and then Uzbekistan. So these are the kind of people I met. And they changed my thinking that with a clear vision, with a focus, you can get whatever you want. And that was a life-changing moment, and I decided to take a plunge. And at that time, it was like a black hole, I had no idea what I was going to get. There were voices everywhere saying, don't do it, don't do it. Your friends, girlfriends, family, everybody was like, maybe this is the wrong decision. But eventually, it turned out to be good. We put in a lot of effort into it, 200 emails a week for almost 3 months. Finally got some of the biggest brands on board. We got Discovery Channel, Times of India, Hero Cycles, Oakley, world-class brands who were ready to invest in a property in a small town of Shimla. So that is the kind of effect that this event gave us. Now, although the event got very successful in its appeal internationally, nationally that mindset was still of that cycling is for poor. It is not meant for the rich, Somebody who can't afford a luxury car probably should be riding a bike. That's when these foreigners, started to come in with bikes that cost as much as a Mercedes-Benz, that's the kind of prices these bikes are at. That's when people started to realize, okay, there's lifestyle into it. So now you see cycling picking up a lot. From less than 50 cyclists in India who had an imported bike in 2005, we sell around 1.25 lakh cycles in a year, growing at 250% year on year. The mindset still needed to be changed. So what we decided was we'll go to the masses. What are the masses that we could go to? There are two elements of social change that are very important for any idea to succeed: children and women. And none of them were ever involved in cycling in India. Children, they used to go to schools by the time on bikes. By the time they reach class 9, class 10, they're told, okay, no, cycling is not for you. Go in a bus. Kids want to buy motorcycles. All that, that's what the social stature of cycling has become. So we decided we'll go to schools. We started going to schools to spread cycling. Our first session was in St. Edward's School, which was a very successful session. Around 100 students were there, and we had no idea that we're going to take it big at that point of time. We have India's 2 first sponsored riders from that session, a guy called Sanchit Sood and Akshit. Both of them were at that session, and they've become excellent cyclists. At age 15, they're one of the best in India. That's how good they are. So we started with school programs. In the first year, we did around 26 programs covering around 5,000 children. So now even 10% of them take to cycling, I think our job is done. But we won't stop here. We want to take this to every school of the country. We want to make sure that cycling becomes a part of each and everybody's curriculum. Hero Action Team, another very motivational story. One of the Hero Action Team members is sitting over there, Ankush Arya. This is India's first fully sponsored cycling teams, all kids from Shimla. Devendra Thakur, in 2 years, the first race he came to, he was wearing those big woodland shoes, cargo pants. He used to fall every 5 meters, get up, get on that bike, ride again, and he came 6th that year, MTB Shimla. Prabjot was there. So now he's the national champion. He's ahead of the Indian Army at age 21, is a computer science student at HP University. Shivain, under 19 national champion. Ankush Arya and Gurman. These kids are all from Shimla, all from Himachal, and they've proven to the world that they can be very, very good given the right kind of infrastructure. And this is what we did. This is our team. This is what inspired all of us. These kids inspire me, and that is the kind of level that we want to take our state to, our country to. This was with school children. Next was women. MTB Himalaya going from year 1 to year 2, something didn't add up when it came to women participation. We could never get enough women to come and, race over here. So I've started reading about, what is happening in in the world of empowerment related to cycling. So I'll tell you a story from Bihar. As we all know, it's one of the most unfortunate states in India with the poverty levels, rural poverty especially, at a very high rate. So there was a study that said that 65% of girls drop out of school in class 9. Why? Because there are very little higher schools in Bihar, and to get to these high schools, you need to walk 6 kilometers or take a bus. With that kind of rural poverty, the parents really could not afford to send their kids to school in a bus. 15 rupees is just too much. So what did the government do? The government then tied up with a few NGOs. They started supplying cycles to girls. It's also unsafe in India for girls to, walk 6 kilometers. There's a lot of eve teasing, those kind of things happening. So these cycles empowered these women. In 4 years, the enrollment in class 9 went up from 1,75,000 to 6 lakh. That is the impact this cycling thing had. That's how much these two wheels can empower somebody. And this is a live example that has been replicated across Rajasthan, it has been replicated across Maharashtra, and this is what it has done for women. Coming back to us, so we thought we should play a little part in promoting it for women as well. So earlier this year, there's a friend of mine, Mamini, she's a very good cyclist in Delhi. She wanted to ride across the Everest base camp into Tibet and back. Unfortunately, the Nepal earthquake happened that couldn't go through. So she approached me that, I'm planning a trip like that. So I told her, let's make it a little big. So we approached Limca Book of Records, found out that there's a category available for a record of who can ride the maximum, first Indian women to ride the maximum distance in a foreign country. So we picked down Sri Lanka. And we rode the entire length of Sri Lanka. Our target was 700 kilometers. We did around 1120 kilometers in 9 days, non-stop. And she is now a national record holder. I was riding with her as a support, but I think it was more her achievement than anything to do with mine. But I still think there's a lot of gap when, women want to do something and the support system that is there. There's a big gap over there. So what, as an organization, we tried to do was fill in that gap. I think we did a good job of it. The impact is in front of you. I'll show you a small video from there.
Vamini is one of the few Indian women cyclists who's been active on the scene for a while now. She first participated in a race MTB Shimla in 2013. That's when I first met her, and she finished the race as #1. And I think she was an inspiration to a lot of us then, and she continues to be an inspiration even now. So she was planning to, do something which is very unique, to create that something which is very aspirational, so which others can, look forward to achieve. I am looking for freedom.
These are some clips from that trip that we did. It was very difficult. The worst part was that we were not allowed to take any breaks. It had to be a continuous ride. So every day, wherever we stop, we need to start riding again from there. We can't get on a car for any amount of the length. So that made it difficult. It was very brave on her part. We decided we'll do one country every year now. We try to take it to the next level, see what we can do. And in the end, I would like to leave you with this picture. It's self-explanatory. 60 people in cars, 60 people on bikes, 60 people in a bus. Look at the amount of space that each one of this picture occupies. If you are looking at smart cities, if you are looking to save your planet, if you are looking to save your city, you need to be here or here. You cannot be here. You realize it or not, eventually you will. Cars are killing the planet. Stop them before it's too late. Thank you.